We're going to look at example 6 in your section 4.5 notes. We have a poster that has an area of 180 square inches. That's going to be our constraint, and I already have the width and the length marked. So we have 180 is length times width. And then we have the stipulations that we'll have a 1-inch margin on the bottom and the sides, which I also have marked. And then we have a 2-inch margin at the very top. So we're going to try to figure out the dimensions of the largest printed area, and the printed area I will go ahead and I have shaded for you. All right, so we need the printed area. So I really need the dimensions of what I have shaded. So if we go ahead and look down here, we know this whole side I've marked W, but I have to take an inch off for both. So I'm going to get right here, instead of W, it's going to be W minus 2. And then the length, okay, the length is this side right here, but I have an inch off over here and 2 inches off at this top. So the length is L minus 3 there. So the area is going to be the width we have marked times the length. So we're going to have W minus 2 times L minus 3. Okay, so we need to get that down to one variable. I'm going to go ahead and solve this for W. So I have 180 over the length, and I'm going to go ahead and substitute that in. So I'm going to have 180 over the length minus 2, and then the length minus 3. So foiling that out, when we multiply the F, the L's will cancel, so we get 180 right here. We're going to get minus 240 over L. Actually, that's 540 rather over L. And then here we're going to have a minus 2L, and then finally a plus 6. So collecting terms there, we're going to get 186. This was supposed to be an L as well. Minus 540. I'm going to go ahead and make that L to the -1, bringing that up, and then minus a 2L. So that is our area equation, all in terms of the length L. Okay, now we're going to take the first derivative of that. So the first derivative with respect to L, this is going to disappear. Remember, this drops down and decreases by 1, so we're going to get a positive 540, and then L to the -2, and then here we're going to have a minus 2. Right? Setting that equal to 0 to find the critical point, we're going to get 540 over L squared, moving that back down, kick this over, that's equal to 2. So 540 is equal to 2L squared. We're going to divide by 2 to get 270 equals L squared. Take the square root of both sides. So L is the square root of 270. And then when we simplify that, we will have 9 times 30. So we'll bring the 9 out, and we'll have 3 square root of 30. Okay. All right, we're ready for our test. So if we go back here, since our derivative is, and our function rather, is all about L, we can see here that L has to be greater than 0. But right here, we can see that the length has to be greater than 3. Otherwise, we'll have negative lengths, which would not be good. So our interval has to be greater than 3 and on out. All right, so 3 square root of 30 is on here. Okay, so we're going to look at a number like 4 and our first derivative test. So if we plug in a number like 4, what we end up getting is a positive. Okay, and then if we go on the other side of 3 square root of 30 and we test a number, we're going to end up getting a negative. Okay, so increase and then decrease, that is going to tell us we're going to have a maximum, and because of the nature of this function, it ends up being an absolute maximum for us. Okay, so ready for some answers here. So we know the maximum length for our printed area is going to be 3 square root of 30, and our label is inches. For our width, we're going to go ahead and plug in 180 divided by 3 square root of 30. And we're gonna wanna do a little bit of rationalizing there. So multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 30. Okay, I'm gonna reduce as well. So 180 divided by 3, I'm gonna have 60 with my square root of 30. And then 30 times 30, I'm gonna have 30 here, or rather the square root of 30 times the square root of 30 gives us that. Then we have a little bit more reducing, so I'm gonna have 6 divided by 3 there. So I'm gonna have 2 square root of 30 inches for my width. So I have my length and I have my width, and that completes example 6.